welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and it's been a really insane KVK so far. What you're watching here is just one small portion that happened when I wasn't streaming. This is King of Armenia's account getting rallied, and a bunch of reports were circulated from this right here saying the King of Armenia got zeroed from this rally, and he didn't lose any troops at all. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what's going on here, where we're heavily defending a city and why this is probably the most advantaged situation in all of KVK for us to actually defend a city. And unfortunately, this doesn't go as well for us as I would have liked. In fact, I'll remind you at the end of this video, the last time we reinforced a city just like this, where the city was actually out of troops, but we just kept reinforcing anyways. We traded really, really well and killed a ton of the enemy's troops. And it's hard to imagine that so many years ago, it was still Attila Takeda that was being used, but back then it was Attila Takeda. Now it's Attila Takeda. The garrisons were pretty similar. So what's different in these reports? And I'll show you the report just a little bit further along in the video. This goes on actually for quite a while. So I guess first, let's talk about what's happening in this KVK itself. We're battling against two Imperium kingdoms. We are one Imperium kingdom, and we've taken one of those kingdoms out of Imperium status, but they built so many forts in this zone that they had time to set up in, and they build back fort on back fort on back fort on back fort on back fort. And I suppose you can't hate them for using the meta. It is what it is. It is the meta. They're using it. So we have a teeny tiny foothold in the zone because this portion of the zone was leaked to us basically for free, where we could put like 3 cities into the zone. And like, that's all we got over the mountain. So King of Armenia was one of the players that poured it in and is sitting, boom, right there. And he could have just switched tags, but that's not King of Armenia's style, nor has it really ever been. So he's taking this rally, and he should, because theoretically in this situation, if we stuff this city full of troops, it should trade insanely positive. He's got really good KVK technology. He's got Theo. He's got YSS. What more could you ask for? In fact, he's using, I think in this video, a fully crit archer set, if I'm not mistaken, and it is a fully iconic archer set. But this is when I realized that there's something funky about the new iconic system in Rise of Kingdoms, which is that although a rally or a garrison that's one troop type really heavily benefits by virtue of the iconic system, city defense actually got super wrecked. And the reason is that in a city defense situation, you often have mixed troops. And the iconic system only gives you base stat boosts for the type of troop that your equipment boosts. So although this rally is going to have absolutely maximum full crit benefit of iconics, the city defense, even though it's got the iconics, even though the equipment is crit, these are leadership commanders, and it's not crit leadership, and it's going to be mixed troops in there, so it really doesn't get the full benefit. So all that to say, city rallying is stronger than ever. City defense is, in my opinion, now weaker than ever, even if you reinforce the city. The other thing that, quite frankly, you'll see in this report is that we do just an okay job of reinforcing this city, but not a great job. And it just is what it is. Like, if we had kept the city topped, I think we could have been really punishing with this. And I actually think if we were doing this all over again, I don't know if King of Armenia has a Xeno. Maybe they do. But if King of Armenia had a Xeno, you just go with like Xeno YSS here and tell everybody to reinforce infantry. What's happening here? When the city loses all of the troops that were defending it, you still have people reinforcing the city. And those players are the ones that have a small portion of dead troops. It's actually the most advantaged situation in the game to defend a city because a smaller portion of troops ultimately die in city defense, and you have all of the troops that are originally in the city helping defend it as well. So let's get a look here at the report. Okay, here we go. And the first thing I want to point out is that it looks like this city just dips really low for a long period of time and never even really reaches like the maximum reinforcement capacity. Now, I'm pretty sure that the KVK technology requires you to actually go and get your improved city reinforcement capacity. So I don't think the issue here is lack of technology from the KVK tech to be able to reinforce the city. I just think we needed to maybe do a better job keeping it like full. And I think if we had actually switched to like a Xeno primary, or even, I mean, honestly, you could do, I guess if you had to, like Artemisia, since we know they've got like the full crit archer stuff with the full iconic stuff, and tell people to just like bring archers. Maybe that would have worked better. Because what you'll see is that this looks even with a huge hospital bill for us, which seems like it sucks until you factor in all the AoE kills, which are fine. But that is a pretty hefty hospital bill. So as I scroll through, you're going to see 42k, 7k, 17k, 4k, 38k. Like the YSS and Theo just do a ton of AoE damage. The enemy keys into this and they start using one troops to actually reduce the amount of AoE damage by 15% per extra target that we're hitting, which is annoying and smart. It's annoying that this still exists as a one-troop mechanic. Smart that they're doing it because it exists, so why not exploit the fact that it does? People have been doing that for a very, very long time. That's not new. And in fact, we do it as well. You can't hate players for using the meta. You have to just accept it is what it is and then do it. Otherwise, you just lose out. If you get a look at the stats here, you can see that we've got the archer gear equipped on Koa's account. Theodora and YSS are there, and the iconics are there, giving a bunch of base stats for archers. If I scroll down, which I think I do later on in this short video showing the report, like he's got all the archer iconics equipped. And the reason that he's got infantry base health, in fact, base health for all troop types, is because the accessories give base stats for all troop types, which is definitely nice for city defense. However, the rally has 100% fully crit iconic stats, and they've only got one troop type in there. So if we get a look at their stats, 295 attack, 114 defense, 116.5 health. It is actually just a lot of stats to deal with. Here it is. I found it. Here are the iconic stats that I was just talking about. All the archer gear equipped to Koa in this case. I think it's possible if you took sort of mixed sets, you might get a better result since mixed troops were going into this thing. So for example, if you took the 2-piece bonus from infantry, the 2-piece bonus from archers, the 2-piece bonus from cavalry. Heck, I'll show you I've built this set myself. Here it is, my perfect city defense set. It's the 2-piece bonus from each of the sets so that you get the maximum amount of stats possible for each of the different troop types. Now, again, once a city gets so low, like it did in this video, where none of the city's own troops are left, and all that's happening is people are reinforcing, at that point, it honestly might make sense to, like, swap in again to like Xeno with YSS, full gear on the Xeno, because you can just bring all infantry, or even Artemisia and bring all archers, or whatever you ultimately decide based on the equipment that you have and the garrison that's at your disposal, so that you can kill a bunch of the enemy's troops, because none of King of Armenia's troops died, so I'm told. All of the troops that died in that report were from people that were reinforcing the city. King of Armenia is low enough power that you actually can't kill his troops with a city rally anymore, which seems really crazy. But also keep in mind, there's a bunch of defensive tactics I've talked about in a ton of videos, like setting a rally so that you can take your lowest tiers of troops out of your city. Very, very, very crucial. You can do things like reinforce neighboring cities, and there were 2 cities and flags nearby that Koa could drop troops into. So Koa was not going to have troops die in this situation unless he wanted to. But if you want to see an example just like this one, where we reinforce the city like crazy and get a really great trade, I'm going to link a video right over here. Card's going to show up in just a minute in the end credits. This is when we were defending Negan way back in the day in our very first Strife KVK. He was on coalition territory from another kingdom, and so he could not switch. I mean, he was in it for better or worse, and I feel like, if I remember correctly, I'm going to have to go watch it. I think we do much better in that trade. And if you want to see a video where I actually random port into the zone to try to save King of Armenia on a different time that he was getting rallied, I actually streamed that whole thing, and there's timestamps in that live stream, and it was possibly the greatest live streaming I have ever done. The card for that is going to show up in just a minute over here. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because this KVK is just heating up, baby, and there's so much more that you're not going to want to miss.